Welcome, y'all, to Exploring Telepathy. This is June 6th, 2026, at least here in the US. I'm Kevin Young, your intuitive coach, your admin for the Autism Telepathy Conversations community, one of five. And we're here to just explore telepathy and everything that it leads us into the overall broader connection to higher consciousness, to who we really are, start stepping into the passion and purpose, which we all intended before we came here, but intentionally get off track so we can find our way back in stronger, more confident, more clear ways. And that is certainly what's been happening for me. Something I'm going to share here in a little bit so we can get into a conversation, which brought me some new awarenesses last week and this week at a level that I've never been at before. Maybe we can see if that pertains to any of you guys too. So we're not doing anything really serious here. The point is to relax and enjoy the company and the conversation and see what we get inspired by in each other's exploration of their own journeys. Nothing can go
I don't know if
wrong.
anyone's into numbers, but this is the sixth day of the week for us, Saturday, June 6th, 2026. So all of a sudden I thought, oh, what's the spiritual meaning of six? Because I'm not really big into the numbers, but I just Googled it. And of course, it answered for me and for all of us. Spiritually, the number six represents unconditional love, harmony, nurturing, and balance. And aren't we all searching and wanting to experience that easily and effortlessly?
That's right. That's why we're here. Explore some of that.
Yeah,
I love the synchronicities.
I do too.
Reminder that we're constantly being guided and supported. So we try to notice them and dwell on them for a moment. That to see and feel it. Oh yes, it isn't so bad. Oh yeah, there's guidance right there. Oh, there's that synchronicity. That Suzanne and I have had a whole bunch since this event that happened a week and a half
Yes,
ago.
we have.
That's what we have. So we'll share that here in a minute. So let's what we do today. For anyone who's new here, we'll do an intro meditation. Melissa, you up to doing the meditation today? Okay, good.
Good.
And then we'll get into stuff,
Good.
whatever comes up, and then we'll do another meditation, a little mind quieting, and at the end, and practice some deeper telepathy. See if any of us can get a message or send a message or tune into something or someone in the broader consciousness realm. Again, nothing you have to accomplish. We're on our own individual journeys, so you can sit back and relax and enjoy the fun we have here. That's all I got. Melissa, you want to rock and roll it here?
You betcha on the 6/6 portal day today. Welcome, everybody. It's a beautiful day. It's a little windy here, but the sun is shining and everything is just perfect. And Hendrix was trying to come see you because as soon as he heard your voice,
Aw.
he tried to jump to the computer. Me and Jerry's sitting right here, and he goes, he knows how he hears you talking. And he wants to come say hi. So
Wants to
he's saying hi
co-create.
from afar right there.
Okay.
He's
Well,
joining the meditation too.
good. Well, I'll talk to him over the airwaves then.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they can't miss it. And Harley's joining from the garage. So everybody just take a moment to just get into your own space here. Find a comfortable position and just allow your body to settle in. And take a nice slow breath in through your nose. And a nice gentle exhale. And we'll do one more in the nose. And a nice soft exhale, breathing out. With each breath, just allow yourself to arrive a little bit more here into this space, right here and now. Feel the surface beneath you. Feel Mother Earth holding you here in this space. There's nothing we need to figure out or force right now. Only connection, remembering. Now bring your awareness to your heart, and if you feel so inclined, put your hands on your heart too, if that feels good to you. Find that, go to that energetic space in the center of your chest. And just to begin to imagine this warm golden light beginning to glow there. It's soft. And then it starts to grow brighter and steadier. This light that you're seeing is your natural connection to all of life. It has always been here. It never disappears. It is the language beneath words. It's the language the animals speak. The language that the forest understands. The language that the rivers carry. The language Mother Earth has been whispering since the beginning of time. Now see your light expanding through your chest, to your shoulders, and down your arms, into your hands, into that soft belly, into your legs, your entire body is illuminated with this beautiful golden light from within you. Now imagine some roots extending from the soles of your feet, traveling down through the floor, through the soil, through different layers of stone and crystal. They're going deeper and deeper until they reach the heart of Mother Earth. This beautiful living pulse. So wise and ancient and steady. Feel her heartbeat. Slow and constant and strong. Notice how your heartbeat and Mother Earth's heartbeat begin moving together. Two rhythms becoming one. You are not standing on the earth. You are a part of her. You belong here. You always have. Now become aware of the water. Imagine this beautiful, clear stream flowing nearby. It's fresh and alive. See it sparkling in the sunlight. You walk toward that beautiful stream and kneel beside the water. Just notice how effortlessly that water moves. It doesn't struggle. It trusts where it's going. Now dip your hands into that stream and feel the cool water flowing around your fingers. Imagine the water gently washing away anything that blocks your connection. Any doubt, any pressure of needing to get it right. Let it all drift downstream. Watch it disappear as the water carries it away. Leaving only clarity, openness, and presence. If you didn't before, place your hand on your heart and feel this golden light there. Imagine this light flowing out like a beacon. Simply just shining bright for all to see. And because it's shining so bright, life begins responding. An animal appears to you, maybe one you know, maybe one you never met yet. Maybe it's a pet or some animal in the wild. Just simply notice who arrives to you. Allow them to come exactly as they are. Notice their eyes, their energy, their presence. don't need to ask questions. You don't need to interpret anything. Just be together, heart to heart, soul to soul. Just allow yourself to feel what it's like to share the space with them. Beyond words, beyond the human language. Notice how their energy feels. Are they playful, grounded? Maybe they're gentle and curious. Just simply receive. Now allow your awareness to expand beyond the one animal. Begin to see countless forms of life connected by invisible threads of light. Birds flying around, the whales and the dolphins moving through the ocean. The trees exchanging wisdom through their roots. Animals resting. Animals playing. Animals and their unconditional love. All connected. And you are a part of this living web. A thread among threads. A heart among hearts. Take a moment to just simply feel what this feels like to you. All of life moving together. We're breathing together. Growing together. Remembering together. Now silently offer a message to all beings. I see you. I honor you. And thank you for sharing this earth with me. And in return, allow yourself to receive whatever comes back. Maybe it's a feeling, a color, a sensation, or a knowing. Maybe it's just simply feeling at peace. Just trust and believe whatever arrives. Take one more deep breath. Feeling your roots connected to Mother Earth. Feeling the wisdom of the water flowing through you. Feel your heart glowing and shining so bright. Feel all the animals around you, near and far, all connected through the same living field of love. We are all connected by love because we are love. We are here to love and give that love. And when you're ready, gently bring your awareness back into your body, back into the room, back to this moment. And begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Taking a nice final breath in. And exhale slowly out. Your heart is open. Your connection here is alive. We are all one. And we will take this conversation of life with us into the call and into this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. That was deep. Probably one of the deepest you've done. And
Yeah.
I got to say, I had a vision which expanded into a profound awareness, which I will share as we get into the conversation here in a minute. But thank you for that.
Thank you. And I wanted to share that part of myself where I couldn't speak for a minute. Because I was so choked up of my own self, of believing I belong here at times too. And I've been going through that my own self. Why am I here? And it has hit hard this week. It's been coming and I feel it. But as an adopted human, I'm not sure if anybody is, so I can't speak but for myself as an adopted person, it's that abandonment wound is pretty deep, no matter how many times I heal from it. And it came in creeping like a deep, dark side of me that has to be out, because I know in life I'm here for that too, to help others that are in that space to know that you are really meant to be here. And we did choose this life. And so when Suzanne said that, it was like it couldn't have been more on target, because I was saying those same exact words on Tuesday. Like, what human would choose the life I've had? What human would choose to be given up the moment they were born to and abandoned and not have anybody to care for you or have that unconditional love throughout your whole life? Why would anybody want to feel that way and never have that feeling? And sometimes it is easier to say, I would not want to be here, because it's easier to not go through that. But when you have to go through it and feel it, even though you feel like you may be dying, because that is the way through, is only through feeling. And when you've numbed out something throughout your life or done a way to avoid it, it's going to come back around one way, shape, or another. It gets easier sometimes because of the tools you've done the work, and you're able to move through it easier than you were the last time. But that has been a rough part of my week, and talking to the birds has been so life-changing for me in so many different ways. And I know I've told a lot of stories, but I couldn't figure it out. And I know I talked to you about it a little, Kevin, about the robins that have been appearing. And it's not normally the robins ever. And so I kept seeing like the robins in their nest, and I knew there was messages there, and I was asking, and they were showing me and then telling me I need to now be the mom and dad of my little kids inside of me, which I've done a lot of inner child work, but this is just another new revelation again, because there's tons of kids in us that have been displaced throughout life inside of us. And the robins were telling me it's my time now to be my parent of father and mother side inside of me, and that I am here as the adult now to take on the kids that are here now, able to be here with me inside of me. And that revelation was just so amazing that here the birds are again in one breath, bluejays out there telling me to take my power, and the robins are out there telling me how to parent, and the blackbird is telling me to move and go down the street with him, and he is going to walk on my arm and someday, because everybody disses those blackbirds, and I say, guess what? I'll show them. We're going to have you on my hand. And I pray that's the time I have a phone with me, because I don't usually ever walk with my phone. So I said it'll happen and nobody will be there to see it. But
well, at least you'll know.
And so it hit really hard in this meditation, going into that space and just knowing we are all worthy to be here, and we did choose this life, whether we want to believe it or not, to go through the shit we did and do in order to get to the other side, to help somebody else go through it maybe less harder than they are going through it now, and help them in a way that I would like somebody to been there for me too.
Exactly, that you just said it. That's exactly, the pain turns into the passion and purpose when we're ready and we allow it to. So interesting. Thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable here, Melissa. These are hard things to talk about, and it will lead into exactly what came up for me, not only this last week and a half, which you know about, some more things, but the meditation. Oh boy, it's just the synchronicities are really starting to add up already on this call, and I suspect that we're going to have a pretty good conversation, because we've all experienced some form of what you're talking about, just maybe for different reasons. That self-abandonment, not belonging or feeling loved or being abused, and then eventually you have to be the one who takes back the reins of power that we gave away to somebody else, unintentionally, of course.
And your pets are here, and the animals are here to help us do all that.
Yeah.
Every step of the way, they're here guiding us.
Yeah.
We just have to be awoke to see them doing that to us.
They're a very powerful channel to move, to allow higher consciousness to get to us. I think that's one of the things that's so nice, is that they're really easy, and they're an easy door to, because you don't typically have anything against them, and you can feel the fun that they have and the love that is there. And so they're like I don't really like the term permission slip. That's what Bashar uses, but they're an easy reason to allow ourselves to get into the state of receptivity and reconnection.
Yeah, like right before the call, Henrik's was rolling on his back, and he's like, "Hey, you guys, just
Chill
take it
out.
easy today. This is what you're here to do. Why are you thinking anything else but lay on your back, put your legs out, lick your paw, and look at the sun on your face, and have a wonderful day." And that's what they're teaching us. Like if we become, because we are animals too. We are the
That's
animal,
true.
and if we can become the true animal, we will live just like them.
Exactly. Suzanne, what came up for you? Go ahead.
First of all, that was the most beautiful. I mean, I just so loved your meditation, and I felt your moment where you were choking up, and I've been there too. Like, why am I here? And that's why in the earlier, before I started recording, I said, but I chose to. So there's two aspects of myself that I started feeling, as I always have, once I understood um, more about life. We have our soul self, the truth of who we are, of that beautiful high frequency soul aspects of God temporarily here. And then we have our personality self, ego self, the one that's been programmed to think certain ways through our whole life. And then we take it on as if it's true. And so I was, Kevin will share what we went through this week, but I was out shopping just to get out of the house. And I went into, we have a Hallmark store that's closing after 30 years in this one location, really close to our house. And of course, I was sad because I've always found the right words and the right card at this store. So I went in there because everything was, they were just trying to get rid of everything. And right by the front door, there was this coffee mug that was on sale, as everything was like 20% off or something. And it caught my eye, and it was a pretty little mug, and it had flowers on the front of it. And it said, I go to my garden to lose my mind and find my soul. And I thought, oh my God, that's it. This is why I go on my out of my back patio. This is why we love the birds and the squirrels and the animals that gather there knowing this is a place where we love you unconditionally. We set it up. We actually build a restaurant for you and put a bird bath out. And so we want you there. And so when I find myself thinking thoughts, just old habitual thoughts. What is my purpose? Why am I suffering? All the things we can do, which I've been carrying throughout my life. I just now turn to that little phrase. I go to my backyard. I go to Mother Nature to lose that chattering mind, that one that likes to make me feel bad, and find my soul again. And I thought about you. I just thought about you, Melissa. Like this is why your cats and your birds and they come to remind you, let's get back to our soul self, our true self, what the animals always are. They don't live in those thoughts that make us feel bad. They just be present and love their life right now. So anyway, just wanted to share that.
Beautiful. Anyone else want to share their meditation experience? Yeah, Marlene, go right ahead.
Thank you, Melissa. It was interesting. You were mentioning like one animal, but from the beginning, I saw like really like fast changing animals appearing. Like what kind of state was their eyes? That was weirdly always like the same. It was like an awareness was looking at me, but the shape just changed really quickly from a bug to a cat to a cow to whatever. It was changing really quickly. And I was a little bit, I could see that my mind was like, yeah, but it should be one. Which is it? Because he said there's one. And I couldn't see one. It was just an ever-changing appearance. And I experienced myself as this thing that is just timeless. Just timeless. Yeah, I don't know, a consciousness or awareness or seeing everything changing really quickly. Yeah, so that was my experience. Was there a message? I think that was the message.
Maybe I was just going to say,
Yeah.
Sometimes
Thank
it
you.
seems like it's just letting us float up into that broader perspective. You
Mm.
begin to see, because time and space are just sort of constructs of the third dimensional part of us, but everything is here and everything is now. So to me, it logically makes sense that when you float up into that higher realm, then you're going to start to, we're all going to start to see possibly multiple timelines, multiple physical perspectives, but from the same consciousness
Mm.
perspective.
Yeah.
Felt like I was just, as you were describing it here, Marlene, I was actually seeing that image, all these animals moving through while the eyes were just in one place. And it just feels like you're picking up. I could feel it, which is interesting how it ties into my awareness. The allness of how supported we are by all of the earth, by all of the animals, by the entire consciousness. You were just seeing it all at one time.
Yeah.
That's a pretty profound perspective.
Yeah. 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 And I just remember that when you said it, Melissa, that we're held by Mother Earth, I was like, a quick thought came, yeah, even by when we eat. It sounds weird, but it's not like a holding outside, but a holding inside. By that which we eat is like the earth is holding us from inside as well.
Love it.
That's a funny way to see it, but yeah, yeah, it was great. Thank you so much. Mm.
Anyone else want to share before we get into this next topic? And all experiences are valid. Don't compare yourself to anybody else here on the call. It's one thing I usually say at the beginning, but telepathy and our overall connection to broader consciousness is unique, truly unique. It cannot be compared with anyone else's journey or experience or how far we think we are along the path, because you can't compare two paths that are going in different directions. They're just your path and where you are, and it's always exactly where you need to be. You can't never not be exactly where you're supposed to be. I've had that been told to me many times in channeling sessions. You're on your path, Kevin. Stop thinking you got to get on it. You are on it. You were born on it. You will die on it. You will always be on it because you're creating it. And there's no one else interfering or judging, or there might be people around us judging, but who cares? That there's no broader consciousness saying, oh, you got it wrong. You should be over here. That's the human. So we're always where we should be. Hey, go ahead, and Reverend Lynn.
Always so lovely to be here.
Mhm.
So, Rob and I got up early today because today's my peace circles. I do 3 global inner and global peace circles, 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 9 p.m. So the operant word today that came before I started everything at 7 or Eastern time was metamorphosis. And it felt like the chills come when something feels real or the truth bumps, that those of us who serve, face out, care about kindness, love, peace, equanimity, developing our gifts, and all of this, we have this sentience, this opportunity to realize that we are always in this expansiveness of metamorphosis. And while I was not adopted, it is a known fact my mother did not want to have me. And so she was very disconnected. And I had babysitters, fortunately, in the early days and whatnot. And I realized, even then, without the words, that spirit was always with me, that there was something always there guiding me. And it became stronger as I had more years. And so metamorphosis, and of course I'm wearing the butterfly shirt, really seems to be present. And when we realize this, when we tap into this amazing, truly amazing, and the animals and the soil and everything, I start my day with gratitudes, and it's all through the day. As we realize this, the divine in all, and the spirit, and all the light and the connection and alignment is always there. And it's just so wonderful to share it with all of you, my Zoom family.
We're so glad to have you here. And thank you for sharing. It's so nice to know that we aren't alone and that we are on parallel journeys. I think one of the biggest things that has shifted me over the years of doing my own trauma healing work, and of course I'm not done either because I'm still here, but it's the awareness that that others are suffering their own pain and are trying to get through it, and that there's no shame in sharing that and sharing your story without getting engaged in it. It's in the early days we share our sadness so that we get some sort of comfort outside of ourselves. For me, it was the only way to get attention, was to complain and share about the problems, and then I would get the attention. But then that creates this negative feedback loop, so it's really hard to get out of it. And so I have, even on these forums, I've been on Facebook for God knows how long, 13 years, and led groups with Suzanne for a dozen years, just like this, either in person. And I've shared very little of my personal side. I just thought, either nobody wants to hear it or I'm ashamed. There's a shame factor. There's oh, well, you should do this. Well, why didn't you do that? Which is what I always heard. So there's that little part of me that says it's not safe to be yourself. You gotta just share what people want to hear, and you're here to make them happy, and the hell with you. And that was always the message I got, and that's the biggest thing I've am overcoming. Even just this year is the big step through that, starting the Substack account and starting to write personal stuff, and that's part of what I'm going to share here in just a second. Once we get through these next two questions, we'll get on to that next piece. So it's as you said, Lynn, our Zoom family here, and by extension, this group of 18,000 people who are all suffering and also growing and looking for these same awarenesses, self-empowerment, self-love, and so forth. Well stated. Robert, what do you have for us?
Good morning, all.
Morning.
I had this experience yesterday, and we've had guests all week. We had family all week, and then we had someone who has never been to our house, and actually came yesterday, and we didn't even invite. Somebody in the family invited, which could turn into a good thing because it could lead to a connection that is meant to be, that once was. But the thing about the person that came was that, well, first she saw that I had a garden and asked for a tour, and that was nice, and I gave it to her, and she really appreciated it. And then people were sitting down for dinner, and I walked over in the area of the dining, and I saw my stepson sitting on the right, and I saw my son-in-law sitting on the left, and the son-in-law sitting on the right, and I didn't see anything in the middle. And then I looked again, and it was the guests that came to our house who were sitting in the middle. And I looked again, and it almost was like there was a blur. There was like a blur in the energy. I didn't say anything, and then this morning, Lynn said, "Did you sense anything weird yesterday?" "I did," I said. "So-and-so who came, she obviously was sitting there, and I didn't see her. When I saw her again, it was like, it was a little ghostly. Like the aura wasn't all there." And I said, "I think there was like a life force missing."
Yes.
And that's all I said. And I don't know what that means. But Lynn had a comment in too about something similar. And so, since it's unusual and I haven't experienced that before, and since I'm here, I thought I would just share that. That's nothing more I want to add to that. I don't want to speculate on that, but I haven't experienced that before.
Well, that's actually beautiful from my perspective, Robert, because in doing all this spiritual work, which we're all doing our versions of it, my logical brain also has to narrow things down to something that's a practical approach to spirituality. For me, it's important to not get off onto somebody's religious beliefs, which maybe don't resonate with me, but to come back to that. And really, ultimately, everything is vibration, it's frequency. Consciousness is vibrating frequency. And as a human, it's hard to accept at first that when you're wandering down the street or at your lunch table that you aren't seeing everything. Like we just seem to think that yes, we see our whole world, but we don't. We're still vibrating beings, and wherever we're focusing, there's a associated vibration. And you are on the cusp of seeing somebody who was just outside your vibrational range, but your perception was strong enough. It's probably a credit to the work you're doing and becoming self-aware and self-connected. You could sense their presence, but vibrationally, you were at a higher frequency, most likely a higher frequency than that person. Next time you walk down the street or go through a store, when you're exiting, kind of look back in your mind and remember what you noticed when you were in the store. And think about all the things that were in that store that you didn't notice. The things that you noticed were the things you're a vibrational match to. And this is getting the hang of then tuning the vibration, which we're all doing here in our own way, which just means coming back to presence, coming back to self-love and connection, and relaxing and allowing ourselves to be guided. Then we're guided to the higher frequencies, and we'll be guided around those who don't match the frequency of us. We won't feel any obligation to interact with them, because if we do, we have to pull our frequency down to do that. Sometimes it can be up too, but it's just like a radio. I think to me is a beautiful demonstration of how powerful you're becoming in your own presence and awareness. And she probably sat there because she needed to attract your energy across from her.
Well, there's a footnote, because after a good part of the dinner was over, I went into the adjoining room where where the grandchildren were playing. And I was just relaxing, and the conversation was still going on near me, and sometimes very boisterous, whatever. And then finally it ended. And when she came out, she looked at me and goes, "Oh, I thought you went to sleep. I just assumed you went to sleep." I said I just went where the grandchildren were. And so she didn't see me and was looking for me. And then when she found me, she was surprised that she found me. I just found all this kind of thing.
Well, see, the same thing, right? She was attracted to your energy. This is just what my read on it. I can be wrong. That she felt your energy and was drawn to it, but she couldn't match it yet. And so it's just like trying to look for something that's lost. You can't find it.
The only thing that ties it together was I took her tour on the garden, and she really enjoyed that and asked me a bunch of things about it. And she does a little gardening herself. So the commonality was seeing the beautiful garden, and that she did. I accompanied her. And so that was the connection, and that she still was with that connection, I think.
Nice. Again, frequency match. And you led. Again, I'm really feeling that you were leading the frequency. You were the intentional one about staying present, loving the garden, loving the connection. And this is what this call is about. This is what all of those of us who are doing this kind of work are about, in my opinion. It's staying in that loving presence, enjoying your life, having fun, sharing your joy with other people. And then that gives them permission to do the same thing. Very exciting. Thanks for sharing that, Robert. Get a little chill on that one. And then Fatima, let's go with you, and then we'll get into my little thing here, and then we'll do our final meditation.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good evening. I'm actually connecting from India, from Pune, India, and it's evening here. So good evening, everyone.
What time is it there, Fatima?
It is 8:15 now.
Ah, okay. In the morning?
No, night, evening.
Oh, night. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually just wanted to share, like when I heard Marlene, sharing her the thing, and that was the exact experience I went through. So it was like, I was sort of amazed and stunned, like how could, two people, we were experiencing similar things, like the way she said that the animals were, the shapes were changing so fast, and I was also like, as the meditation was going on, as the guided this thing was going on, I was wondering that I was supposed to look at some one animal and into the eyes, and I was actually just searching which animal is actually there that I'm supposed to connect, like, and I could just see. A pair of you can say sort of yellow eyes, like, and that is what I could connect to. And another thing is the whole part of the meditation, I felt I'm floating above a lot of greenery is what I saw, like grass and trees and forests, and yeah, it was very amazing experience. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's wonderful. Don't you love it when those synchronicities happen? It's like this. We've been doing these kinds of things on and off for a long time. And particularly in workshops, we've noticed that as we sort of set the vibrational tone and people come into up to speed, particularly with meditations, suddenly the same stories start occurring. Like it becomes again this law of attraction, being on the same frequency, and then you have the same experiences. That's what telepathy is as well. It's achieving the frequency of the other person. And then it's like you walk into the same room and then you can have the same experiences, communicate and whatever. It's the whole point of the calls. All right, Monique, you can go and then we'll jump into the other thing here. Glad you could make it. Go ahead.
Hi. Sorry I was a little bit late, but I managed to join just in time, really, because I was just getting into the meditation, which was wonderful. Again, thank you, Melissa. And Cody is in the background, so forgive me if you can't hear me very well. I almost didn't share because I'm my harshest critic usually, but after that little thing you said, Kevin, it kind of reminded me, like, it's okay if you don't share, and be okay if you share and you have no idea what the meaning of your experience is. So I do not know anything about raccoons, and yet that was the animal that came to me when I was sitting, and I wasn't by a stream, I was by a beach. I love the beach so much, so I use that for my visualization, because I realize that's my happy place and it helps me get into presence. But it was a raccoon, and I was fighting with myself, thinking, why? But then I really worked really hard, and I just sat with it, and I even stroked it. It was so cute, and I even touched noses. And as soon as we touched, like I touched noses with it, I say it, but I think it was a him. Like my heart just opened. So I just allowed it, and I thought, well, this is just so cool, because I've never, in my opinion, other than my own cat, connected with another animal so closely. So I allowed myself to just enjoy it, and we just spent some time together. I mean, when I get off of this, I'm going to ask if there's any, look up and research and learn about the animal more, and if there's any kind of significance, to it being a raccoon. But yeah, that was my share. We just spent some time together, and it's kind of reminded me that animal existed, because it wasn't really in my consciousness so much until now. But it was lovely, and that was my share.
Well, I'll just share that. Thank you, Monique. I'm really glad you did share. I don't know if you noticed Melissa lighting up all over the place, but she's had raccoon communications on and off for weeks that have been very important to her. And that might be something that you guys might even want to talk about together at some point if it felt inspiring. Because again, cool. Another simultaneous connection, getting on the same frequency, and then yeah. So it could very well be that Melissa's experience kind of leaked into your awareness, and that's where you got the idea of to use that animal to connect with. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Monique. I'm so glad you could make the call today. And was that Cody back there?
Yes, that's Cody.
Tell him hi for us.
He's smiling away at me.
Hi, Cody. Melissa's showing a picture of the
Can you
raccoon.
see this?
Can you see that, Monique?
Oh, yes.
Is that your raccoon?
That is so cute. That's
Well, then
my
we must talk because this is my raccoon too that came to the house and sat outside for 6 hours of my window right here.
Oh,
And
when was that?
that was about 3 weeks ago or so. But then on the last meditation we just did, 2 weeks ago, the raccoon kind of came back out. And I was telling the story of it was all about love too, kind of what the message came, and not to be afraid of them, and that they're not here. They're they're here more for reasons of love and for us to embrace that love with them, and like because you're more like, oh, it's a raccoon, like eat, and and I was the same way. I was like, you're afraid to go to it, and it said, why didn't you come give me some food after, and why didn't you come, you know, do the things you do, because instead of the fear. So it was releasing the fear of that and all opening out the heart of love for them and all animals and for ourselves.
Beautiful.
Okay. I do
Yeah.
love synchronicities. That's just so cool.
Yes, milk them up, guys. Over here. Phew. All right. Well, I'm feeling really good here. So thank you guys for sharing your energies here. I have one little story that leads into the what I received. Getting chills already here. I'm going to try and keep this really brief. I'm going to introduce you to somebody. This is my dad. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. In fact, he left the planet on the 26th at 95. And it was the end of a long, painful relationship. And I was immensely freed when I heard the news that he had finally left, because I haven't talked to him in like 7 years. I had to, because I was like literally physically dying being so close to him because of all the trauma that I experienced. But he's always been around. And when my sister called, or no, somebody else called and said he was going and he finally went, I felt this immense level of freedom. Like I'll never run into him again. I'll never have those experiences. And don't get me wrong, he was a really nice guy at times, and usually to people who weren't me. But, people have that dualistic personality, and he's been with me since then, that part of him. Like within the several days afterwards, I would feel this giddiness. And there were a couple of times I said things that were just this kind of high, funny frequency that weren't mine. And I know he was coming through. And so what's interesting that I had to let that go and feel free. And yet what was the reason I'm bringing all this up, it's all the perfect path. There's no loss. He was in his little meat suit, as we all are, his consciousness flowing in, wandering, and now he's in a dirt suit, and his soul has become free. And what I was feeling when I felt my rush of freedom, I have now come to realize, was also his freedom at the same time, because he was a very tortured soul, never being able to quite live up to his own parents' expectations. And there's a whole, we could sit here for 10 hours and talk about our past, which is largely irrelevant, except for the point of sharing these, like we're talking about today, these experiences that we've had that lead us to where we are now, and the importance of that you can do the healing, you can sit with the energy, and you can release it. And yet still, the fact that he's sitting right here, he can't hurt me anymore. He never physically hurt me, but emotionally, he kind of tore my little soul apart when I was young. But that's my journey. That's why we chose to co-create. We chose to come into this life experience. And I had one channel who told me years ago, she said, your dad didn't come into your life to make it easy for you. He came into your life to make you sure of who you are. And it wasn't until I had disconnected from and years of this spiritual healing and so forth that I can now say today, I do know who I am. I am solid in who I am. And I know that nobody will be able to manipulate me ever again because of that experience and then coming out the other side. And yet, in the last few days, as I'm the executor of the estate, so now I'm getting into all of the stuff and the apartment, all the stuff that's in there because he lived a mile from here. And my sister, who was taking care of him on and off, and she's emotionally not available right now. She's hit pretty hard. So now I'm getting into it. I'm thinking, okay, well, I got this. And then I start talking to people I have to notify or whatever. And everyone's like, oh, your dad was such a nice guy. God, he was a father figure to me. Yeah. Oh, I loved when he came in every day. It's like, fuck that. Where was that dad? I didn't have that dad. Why does everybody else have that dad? So I'm right back in. He's gone. He's not here anymore. And yet I'm still processing that energy. So that was the big awareness, was that the freedom comes from the state of mind that you allow yourself to be in and that you're pursuing, not whether the person is here. His chemicals are right here, but he's out of that. The consciousness that he was, that was so angry to me all the time, is gone. It's in this box right here. The other part of him, that is the eternal, infinite, indestructible consciousness, is right here, right now, is with me. And the channeling I've done with Melissa, who has been very helpful in helping me get through this, he has come through and just reminded me I can connect with him. But what I have to do in my mind, this was another really important thing. Same with when my mom passed so many years ago, and I had different kind of abuse, but that you have to let go of the mental image you have of them in the body and the experiences that you had with them. And when I was able to do that with my mom, she became more of a sort of a misty almost being, a clear presence, but not mom's face anymore, just an energy field. And that's what shifted with my dad as well. He went from, if I looked into his face, there was always that stern, angry, kind of like he's in control and you're not kind of energy. And now that imagery goes away. And now suddenly he came through when I was talking with my sister right before my dad passed. And she was the first time we had talked verbally in about 7 years, because she kind of went his direction to let me know, hey, if you want to see him before he dies, now's the time. It's like, no, I don't need that. I've already made my peace. And yet on that call, he suddenly appeared for the first time. This big bright energy, and I felt it go through my whole body. It was 8:46 p.m. And what I realized soon after that was one of the two things he needed to pass. One was that I reconnected with my sister. And the other was that my sister actually go and visit, because she didn't want to be there when he passed either. And yet she felt a strong connection to go, and then he was gone within the day. So you could feel it's all perfect synchronicity. Everything is going exactly as it needs to. Nothing went wrong. And I'm so much stronger as a result of having gone through this, thankfully, because of what I know and all this, the healing work I've done to this point, and having support from channels like Melissa, who are really good, by the way, if you want that kind of support. And let me just then tie into the meditation experience that I had. So I felt his energy come through right at the beginning of the meditation. But then when Melissa was talking about the animal, what I realized, I was still tense, even in the meditation. It's like I'm bracing for impact. Like that was always my position when he was around. I'm braced for impact. Like, what's he going to do this time? And so I felt myself actually in the call on the meditation doing that, and I was relaxed into it. And then she talked about the animal, and then immediately I saw a picture of a buck, a deer, male deer. If any of you guys have seen Harry Potter, but Harry Potter's Patronus, which is the animal protector of the series, is a buck. And it was also his father's Patronus at the same time. And there's one of the books, the movie called Prisoner of Azkaban, where it's quite an evolved story, but it's a really, really powerful story where he sees himself across a river. His friend is dying and he needs support, and he's being attacked. And this image of this buck across the river is protecting him, sending energy through this Patronus thing, protecting him. And later he finds out that he thought it was his father. It was him. It's in a future. It's like there's a time shift involved. It's hard to explain. And so he became the empowered 1111 empowered being that he needed to become so that he was no longer his dad or whatever energy protecting him. He was the one protecting himself. And that all came through the imagery, first of all, of the buck, and then the broader picture that I'm coming full circle. And now I'm becoming the father I didn't have. Just exactly tied into what we were talking about before. So that's all I wanted to share. Whew. Didn't think I'd get through that.
Well done.
Thanks.
I also had to go through my own little awarenesses when we learned he had passed. But when Kevin was on the phone call with his sister, and she said, "Now is the time if you want to go visit. He's only going to be here for a little bit." Well, my first thought was I had no relationship with Kevin's father, even though we've been married now almost 19 years. But the only relationship I had was being Kevin's wife, and he was always so sweet and kind and even cried tears when I came into Kevin's life, and he put our picture up on his mantle, and I just thought, oh, he's just the most loving, and he was at that to me at that time, and that's what I had. And then when it came time, as Kevin and I started talking about everything throughout our years together, I realized, oh, there's two sides for him. I can see it. And then finally one time I saw the other side where he was the lower frequency energy. Just once did I see it. And then I thought, aha, you can't play the role forever. Finally, it leaks into to an experience with someone so they can see. But anyway, my first thought was, oh, I better go over there and say my last goodbyes. That was my old self saying, I better go make sure everybody thinks I'm being a good girl and I'm going to go say my last goodbyes. And then I had this thought like, and this is so what's lovely about the telepathy tapes, even before the telepathy tapes, but it got even more sound after listening and getting involved, especially with this group. I thought to myself, I don't have to run over there to look good in everybody's eyes, and I would be the perfect, whatever wife of Kevin. If he has a message or we have a message to share together, we can do it telepathically now. I clearly thought that, and I thought, whew, I don't have to play any game either. I can just be myself. I didn't really want to go over there, but I thought my first urge was, I better go, please. Better make everybody think I'm the good girl, old patterns. And now I just got to be myself. It was beautiful. Anyways,
Yeah.
we all learn, keep growing together.
This is a hard topic, one of the hardest topics I think on the planet, because there's been so much teaching of death being finality, like that's the end. That's what I believed before I had the brain tumor and then came into the higher consciousness connection. And it's time for us to get over that. They don't go anywhere. We're right here, where everything is here, everything is now. Consciousness is either flowing into a body, wandering around, having a disconnected experience for a while in order to grow and expand and learn more and become more compassionate, loving. That's the point of being here. Or we're not in this body, but we're always still here. And we make such a big deal of being attached to the people, and then they die, and then we're lost. And the whole point of all of this is to keep reminding us, and anyone you talk to in the spiritual realm, and I've had hundreds and hundreds of channeling and other conversations in my own, they're all saying, what's the big deal? We're all right here. Just stop going into your lower frequencies, let go, and just relax and chill out and float back up to where we are so we can all have a nice fun time together. Nothing serious is going on. And if we can get that message across experientially and by discussion to other people and soften their pain and the angst that they hold on to from what's outside of them, and then bring it within, and then you have the connection, and now the outside works better because we're in a higher frequency.
I just want to say that after I had came to that thought, like, we could communicate telepathically, not a problem. The next morning I got up, I had a dental appointment, and I was journaling in my journal out of my wonderful back patio where I get connected to my soul. And I just thank Spirit for reminding me, like, yes, I didn't have to feel guilt. I was being true to myself. What a good feeling to be authentic. And I just thank Spirit for flowing with me and through me and helping me have that awareness. Like, I don't have to be the people-pleasing girl that I used to label myself. And then what I just love sharing is every time I write this thing in my journal, and my soul reminds me, like, be true to yourself. This is speak, be honest, be a woman of integrity. Don't play games anymore. I always get confirmation after that because it was just a little short thing in my journaling book. I got up, went to my dental appointment, and I only got that dental appointment with a hygienist because she just happened to have an opening. Just came available, and I thought, great, I'm going to go take it because the next opening was
And your
in the
regular one
fall,
wasn't available.
and the regular one wasn't there. So I'll take her. I don't know her, but the regular one's really good, and the whole dental office is excellent. So I went, and I was sitting in the chair, and she's very friendly and asking me questions, and finally I realized that she's got all her equipment in my mouth. I don't know a thing about her because I've never had her, and my what I love doing all the time is finding out more about you. Who are you? So as she took her hands out of my mouth, I said, "Do you have any children?" And she said, "Oh yes, I do. I have three. I have two older children in their 20s and another child, a boy, he's 15, but he has special needs, and I have to make sure I get him to the right schooling before I come into work." And I said, "Oh, that is very difficult. What's his situation?" Because I'm not looking for a label. I'm not wanting to know what might be wrong. What's his situation? And she says, he's 15 years old and he's a nonverbal autistic, just got diagnosed just recently. I thought, I'm getting chills right now. Like, really? I just met someone who I can just so get excited about sharing with her that her nonverbal child has so much to share with her. And and the reason it just opened up to her awareness that he's in there, he's got something, is the dentist who Kevin and I are really good friends with. When we first got introduced to the telepathy tapes, I told him about it. And so as synchronicities line up, he told her about it, and she had just listened to the telepathy tapes, and just like her whole world started changing. She got a message from him, just to love her and believe in him, love him unconditionally, and just be there and believe. And it's just like, we were both in chills. I was just thankful after all of the things that telepathy is so beautiful, and it can change so many people's lives. And this is why we love this call, no matter how it intertwines into your life, whether we don't have autistic people in our family. But look how the universe lined me up with her by opening up that spot and me being free to go. And then me getting the nudge, like, ask her if she has children. I didn't have to. She's busy in my mouth. All these things. I love those little nudges from the universe that say, go ahead, just ask. Don't worry. Don't worry about what you're curious. And this is what I love about life. Curiosity. Spirit loves, after all, it's the curiosity of how much more we can all grow, that all of Mother Earth and everything was designed. So curiosity is just a beautiful thing to feel, to move you forward out of something that you're hesitant about. Just
it's the impulse. So is what you're saying. I think that to me it's real. And you got the impulse because you're at the frequency of receiving the impulses.
Yeah, it just was all
that's
so
the
beautiful.
Piece, and that's what always leads.
Home and tell Kevin, like, you're not going to believe. Yeah, we do believe. And then one other little synchronicity was, while I was sitting in the office waiting room to get called in, I was busy filling out a form, and I didn't notice anyone in the room. Some gentleman said, Suzanne? And I looked up, and this was God, how many years ago? 15, 20 years ago,
15,
a guy we'd met in a networking group who was a realtor. And just, of course, synchronicity, in the past year, he's come up into our minds several times. Well, if we do ever put the house on, we want to go to this guy. And there he was. And then we had this wonderful little conversation about, life just can't get any better when you just stop and appreciate those synchronicities. Like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. I'm on the right track, and you're reminding me, my wonderful soul self.
And more to come. The more we allow, the more we can.
For sure.
Okay, Danielle, if you can make it quick, we got to get into our meditation pretty quick, but go ahead.
Thank you for having me. And I was excited to come here this morning, and my cockatiel woke me up with this beautiful song. He's just chirping right now, and I thought to myself, see, you sounded like an alarm. You say this has never happened, like, okay. And I said, well, I better get moving. I want to be here. And then I started thinking of my week, and I said my week was so animated and bizarre and wonderful and this and then it ended up going over to, okay, are my kids okay, or this is that, and then wow, my dad. So all these weird, not weird, but not typical of what I would have planned for my Saturday morning came up, and I started Googling, or I went on Reels for a second, and it was a sad song about a father's not caring for like leaving his child, basically. It was Kelly Clarkson, Piece by Piece, right? And so I just got chills. I was reading the lyrics, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, he chose this. And I got wrapped up in that and lost track of time. Um, and the thing is that he's a passionate hunter, and he has bucks on his, and that was always very disturbing for me. Um, I said, oh God, stop, get in here. So I asked permission if I'm not disruptive, to come. And one of the things is, since you had shown that, I don't know if you can see,
Let me zoom it in.
June 2nd, this blue jay has come to the right out back. I woke up, I opened the blinds, and there he is directly staring at me. And I said, whoa, hey, hi. Hi, little friend. And it's the first time I've seen one here. And he stayed all day, came the next day, hopped around, hopped back. And I said, what, of all the places, this fence goes all the way down this way, this way. Why are you right here? Why are you right here? What do you want? Hi. And I said, well, you're so cute. Maybe I'll get you a birdhouse. I don't know. So we can, and I did I'm starting to do some recordings about telepathy, how to be helpful. And that's very vulnerable. But so I added in there, oh, and my blue jay, my blue jay. And I included the picture, and it was like this, my week was centered around that. So I did miss your meditation. But I do feel that my heart had felt you. And the words that I did hear were you commenting on the birds, Melissa, and the blue jay, and then Kevin, you of course with your father. So synchronicity, I
all
wanted
over
to
the
share.
place.
I just wanted to share. So thank
I
you
love it. Thanks for sharing,
for
Danielle.
being here.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. You're part of this energy field. That's, and we've said it a million times, noticing the synchronicities. No matter how small they are, just taking the extra moment to let them feel them, let them settle in. Like, oh, I could not have arranged that as a human. That was arranged by broader consciousness on my behalf, and I showed up. Good me, good for me. And it's just remembering that. And then as you dwell on that energy, then you emit it more. That's the positive feedback loop that we all want to be leaning into more. Be the energy we want to attract. And by staying there even a short amount of time, then we're open, as Suzanne was saying, then now you're open to more guidance, because they're always trying to guide us towards everything we want and around everything we don't want. And always, like every moment of every day, our whole team is sending us these impulses. But that tells you the fact that you think, well, I had two impulses to do something positive. Well, that's because the other 59,000 thoughts were at a lower frequency. That's all. It's not that you do anything wrong or bad. It's just tuning. It's just awareness. Oh yeah, it can be better. And so the more time of those 60,000 thoughts or whatever we can spend dwelling in that energy, then the whole lever moves in that direction. Guidance becomes easier. You flow through life in the now moment. You're not in the future or the past. Everything works out, parking places, sales at the store, rendezvousing with people. It's such a simple and obvious thing. It seems to be such a challenge for us humans to do. But that's what I love about these calls, so that we share these things. So thanks again, Danielle. Well, I don't know what you guys want to do here. Do we want to drop into another meditation? We'll be going past the bottom of the hour. You guys okay with that? And if anybody's got to drop off, of course, by all means. We don't have nobody's keeping track of who's here.
I do
Yeah.
have to go,
Okay.
unfortunately. Thank you, and I'm so glad I could spend
Yeah,
time
thanks for
with
being
you.
here, Danielle. And anybody else who's got to drop off, yeah, go right ahead. We'll play around with the energy here a little bit more since we got such a good thing going, and we'll see what happens. All right, well, let's just take a couple minutes, and then those who can stay here, we'll just see if we can drop
Yeah,
in a little
please,
deeper.
please excuse me also.
Oh yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, please take care of yourself, Fatima. Thank you for
Thank
being
you
here.
so much.
We'll
Thank you
see
so
you
much.
next time. All right. Yeah. Go ahead, guys. Enjoy yourselves. All right. Well, let's sit back and relax and see what magic we can dive into even more deeply. So let's just ride the wave of the energy that we already have going. Nothing you got to do differently. Just settle in a little bit more deeply to it. Breathe into it. Feel yourself relaxing, taking deep, slow breaths in. Nice, relaxing exhales out. Feeling our attention move into our heart space. Just dwelling in the body, feeling the beautiful energy there. Finding our slow, deep rhythm. And letting go. Letting go of thoughts. Letting go of attention to anything. Just becoming the awareness of the awareness of the awareness. And as we drop in, we float up, becoming lighter and brighter. Starting to notice the beautiful energies around us as we move higher and lighter. Tuning into whatever's drawing our attention, trusting the synchronicities, the impulses that we're getting, even in this higher realm. Just letting our attention wander in whatever direction it's taken. And having any experience that we want to have. And as my voice drops off for a few minutes, allow yourselves to have the experience that your soul is guiding you towards.
ready for yoga.
Everybody, it's time to come back. Bring our presence back into our bodies, reconnect. And whenever you're ready, just open your eyes. And if there's anything you want to capture, go ahead and write it down or share in the chat window or come on screen here. I had a whole bunch of different things go through. I was talking with Cody, who's Monique's nonverbal child, a bit. How they're co-creating such wonderful experiences together, along with Aaron, who's her other son, who's on the spectrum. I had more feeling around the Patronus buck, the brilliance and beauty of that full circle moment that I had about becoming my own father, protective father. Yeah, that was a lot. It just moved so fast. I'm sure there was more. So, what did you guys experience? Anything you guys want to share?
I want to say something. I'm still moving. Like
Mm.
the animals, they're having a dance party and they're telling us that song. I don't know, back from the like 80s or when it was. This is how we do it on Friday night. And they're all dancing. Like the birds started, and then the raccoons started, and then there's like a dog and a lion, and they're all like I'm talking a group party, like hundreds of animals, and they're telling us this is how you groove and get along and bring your spirit up along with that. And then I'm doing that and I'm looking, Jerry's looking, and I said, "Did you feel that?" And he says, "No, right, but I had that happen during your meditation." He said, like everybody was still, and then all of a sudden, like you'd walk in something, and then everybody just started dancing, but it was all the animals. He's like, they were having a block party and they were all doing the same thing. So I was like, that was pretty cool. And I just was just grooving because they're all just, there's crows out here that were going off and the blackbird and um I don't know. It's pretty surreal, like what they're all telling us here again, to just let loose and be
Wow.
yourself and go have fun outside or wherever. But like just I don't know, get that groove into your body and
Yeah, and the energy I got from what you just said was that, and they are so happy that we are doing this.
oh, so it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, they couldn't be more happy. Like this is like they gather around, like they're always around when I start. Like we have like a I couldn't tell you how many animals are gathered around us when we like when I start my meditation and do that and how they're all with us. It's just like we have our own zoo. We
Yeah,
have
and we
our
don't have to.
Saturday telepathy zoo that
Yeah,
shows
and we
up
don't have
for
to
us.
pay for it.
Nope.
I love it. Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, Robert, go ahead.
Well, this must be somewhat of a combination of what I said earlier about what you actually see and what your perception is. I was I was either going through timelines or landscapes where I was looking at a mountain with a snowstorm, and then I'm seeing, forests that look, totally different. I was in every time zone, every weather pattern, and then it took me to like ocean scenes. But these ocean scenes were like it was done by an animator, for a movie or something. It kept, and then it shot up into the sky, and you're seeing just plain blue sky, and that's what was going on and on and on. Where she goes, round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. And so I was saying, okay, so it's like reality could be quite flexible.
Yes.
What's actually going on. And then I don't have any more to say about it, except that's what it was.
Well, I think that was a perfect, to me, that reality can be quite flexible because we are creating it. That's profound, my friend. Yeah, I love this. I love that you guys are having these experiences. That's just fantastic. Monique, go ahead.
So mine was kind of intermittent because I've got Cody in with me and he's very kinesthetic and his device kept running out of battery, so I was plugging it in and out. So every time I kind of dropped back in, I felt like I was starting again. But while I was in, I kind of when I'm in, I know when I'm in because my heart suddenly swells. It's like I get hit with love, and it's very emotional feeling. So I know when I'm there. I'm still going through the process of like learning the practice itself. But towards the end, I kind of got in and I felt like I was again being taught something in this process. And with me mainly being claircognizant, I just suddenly had the reminder, shall I say, that we're not just doing this to receive messages, we can send messages as well. And I was like, oh, yeah. So I took that opportunity to connect to my cat, who I mentioned earlier, because she's not actually living with me. She's living with my son. It's a long story why I had to give her away. But I just sent her some love. And then I also connected to my mum. Because I know that she would receive it in whatever shape or form. My mum is going through a stage of dementia. So I just took the opportunity to be able to send love to my cat and to my mum at this time. And also for you, Kevin, when you mentioned about Cody and Aaron, one thing that Cody does, even though he's a non-speaker, he can either shout yes out of the blue at really yeah, the right moment. Or he will take your hands and clap them, or he'll clap himself. And when you mentioned the connection, I said to Cody, "Oh, how cool! Did you just connect to Kevin?" And you got a round of applause. That's great to hear that.
Oh, how sweet. He's such an amazing being. Both your kids are. As are you,
Yeah,
Monique.
thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. That made my day. Angela. Yeah, go ahead.
Um, mine was, I'll keep mine short. When you said you're talking about lifting up and becoming lighter, I had my light body come out and it almost like spun, and it was like imagine like the frequency that you're holding is it's like colors of paint just like wrapped around you, and then as you spin, you the paint flies off of you, and it's creating this reality and this image that you're experiencing all around you. And so then I went off and then I experienced this, and then I could somebody had mentioned, I believe it was your wife, sorry, it's kind of starting to rain out here, but I believe, is it Miss Suzanne had mentioned that you can't hold a frequency, but it is possible, just giving it validation that it is possible to go and visit a higher frequency. And so even in that, whenever I was like, okay, well, even if I am like still experiencing ego at times, and I'm not at whole self and at the highest level, I can still visit that. Even if I'm not staying there constantly, I'm still able to visit. And so then I just held it, and then I spun, and I was able to even just going and like seeing that. And I think that the more that we're able to sit in that and see that, then it becomes more familiar, and eventually you just start saying longer and longer. And anyways, that just came to me, and that was my experience, and thank you for that. That was amazing. I'd not seen it like that before, experienced that.
Yeah, wow. Man, I got chills when you talked about the light body coming out and then becoming essentially colors of paint that were creating the reality around us as it was spinning. Like, what a masterful image of how reality is literally being created as we move through it. And I also love that when you shared about that this isn't about reaching that high frequency and staying there. Once you do that, you won't be in the body anymore. Right? That your journey is the cycling, because in the contrast, the lower frequencies, we get the new ideas, the new clarity, the new direction to move towards, which creates the next level. So we wouldn't be here if we hadn't intended to go through these cycles. So it's not a bad thing to go down. It's just we don't want to stay there. That's all. So what else? Such you articulate so well, Angela. I'm glad you could make the call today.
Thanks. I've been here. I just been, I had my failed appointment. So thanks for having me, and thank you. It's been from the beginning to end as always. Great.
Thanks, Angela. All right, and then Marlene, I think you can help us wrap it up here.
Oh, thank you. It's so funny because what Angela just mentioned is a lot what I experienced, because when I'm really in that space, I always see light. Sometimes it's like a flowing of light, like a color light color. But when I'm here in this room with you all guys, it's more like a steady circle, which is pulsing. So a colorful thing, kind of color light. So, and I experienced today a lot of mind chatter, but also this at the same time. And the message I got is it's happening simultaneously. It's not either or. It's not either I'm like in my mind, or I'm in that frequency where I receive that pulsing. It's always simultaneously. Can you hear me, guys?
No, I'm eating up every word. That's profound.
Oh, okay, because there's a little bit frozen here.
Oh.
So that was it. And also, I'm not sure if Melissa, you were saying that about, because that, or maybe that's also maybe your experience, Kevin, but as a child feeling abandoned, at some point recently, I realized I was never alone, never, because what I truly am was always with me. So that kind of came as well just now as in that call. So just wanted to share that. Thank you. Thank you.
Isn't it? It's so nice when we get up to that frequency where we can see, yeah, the experience it was reality at the time in the past where we did feel alone, but we weren't, but we didn't know it. So we were alone, but now we know it and we can experience it. Just sort of like you become that full circle. It really is, to me, when looking at the whole picture of coming in to the physical nature and then moving through, and hopefully we get to the point of awareness before we pass. I mean, I think that's the point. But when we get to, which everyone on this call is at that point, coming through the darkness and that doesn't mean we're done with the darkness, but as you said, I love that, simultaneous. It is. It's just about where your focus is in the moment. It's all happening, but it's where our focus is going, and we can control it more than I think most of us knew that we could. At least for me. Ugh. This imagery, you guys are coming up with these imageries that it's just blowing my mind. I mean, I'm feeling and seeing everything that you're saying. It's just like a whole nother level of awareness. And I certainly needed this call today. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
All right. Well, I say that's a perfect note to wrap up on for today. I'm glad some of you guys could stay on the call a little bit longer. I kind of needed us to go to the second meditation, even though it's not strictly required. Whatever we accomplish, or whatever we enjoy. But this was really good. Okie dokies. Well, let's wrap it up here for today. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Post a recording here in another day or two. But in the meantime, thanks again for joining us. Thanks for sharing your amazing energy, your loving energy. You're making a difference on the planet, certainly in my life. So thanks again. Namaste. Love you all. And we'll see you next time.
Love
Bye
you
for
guys.
now.
Thank you.